Welcome back to Plugin episode 22. We have Jaclyn Patterson today with me here. She's going to help me host the show, and she's going to take it and show you what she's made of. Go ahead, Jaclyn.
Hi. First off, I'd like to introduce you to my mom, Michelle Patterson. She's the CEO of Women Network, LLC, a media and production company giving women a voice to share their message. Women Network is creating the largest community of women globally, and they are the exclusive event producer of the California Women's Conference.
Well, thank you, Jaclyn. You're pretty amazing yourself. So Jaclyn actually produced the teen program at the California Women's Conference. So we've had a chance to work together. So Avi, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, you're welcome. How is it to have your daughter hosting the show and I'm going to ask you the probing questions now?
Scary. I don't know how I feel about that. Actually, I feel great about it.
It's going to be like when I come home at midnight and she wants to know where I was. This is exactly how it's going to feel for you.
Yeah.
The tables
have turned.
Yes. So, Jaclyn, put her on the grill here. Let's hear the inside story.
So you work in a corporate environment that has been mainly considered a boys' world. Have you noticed in your line of work women adopting certain characteristics that some may consider masculine in order to survive in this environment?
So great question. I think for me, what I see is women are waking up to the awareness that we're really good together. I think women who support other women, we create amazing things. And so what's happening right now is that the women that do come together and support each other are really successful. One of the things that I've noticed is with women for so many years, we've competed for that one spot, whether it's in corporate America or going after that one position. And so for now, what's happening is that we no longer have to do that the opportunities are opening up.
So how this idea to have the Women Network came about?
Oh, how did it come about?
Yeah.
So what happened was we started doing the California Women's Conference.
Okay.
And I was producing events of 30,000 and got the phone call that said, Michelle, the California Women's Conference was canceled by the state. Would you be interested in taking this on? And ironically, and Jaclyn, you know this, I was interviewed for the 8th grade school paper the same year. I actually interviewed the governor. It was Governor George Duke Majan. It was the same year that he started the conference. So here, almost 30 years ago, and working with him.
I'm new to California. I've been here 20 years, but I didn't hear or recognize the name. I know from, what's his name, Gary or Gray, and then
there's Gray Davis and Arnold Schwarzenegger. So Governor George Duke Majan, who I think is by one of the most amazing individuals, really inspired me as this 12-year-old kid. So I'm interviewing him, and he's asking me really important questions. What's your favorite pastime? How many kids do you have? And he says to me, Michelle, that was the best interview. And it was the first time somebody outside of my immediate family said, you matter. And so when the opportunity came up and it was take on this conference, I thought, there's no accidents. And so now fast forward, the feedback that we got was, we love this event. It's amazing. Mm-hmm. It's a couple days, but what if we could have this event 365 days out of the year? What if we could go ahead and have a place where women and men could go to and find resources and tools available for women to be successful? And that's how Women Network evolved.
Great. And through that, is it membership? Is it how people will find you? How do they get part of the network?
Yeah, so if you go to womennetwork.com, you're able to go ahead and see the videos. We've got 50 plus hours of video from the California Women's Conference. Okay. We've got videos from individuals all over the world. And what's so exciting is we're able to spotlight women doing these amazing things. So it's set up as a membership site, and you can participate. And again, it's a great way for organizations around the world to come together and participate together.
Are there chapters like California or New York, or it's one women network and the partnerships or the memberships all
yeah, that's
come
probably
along?
what I love the most about what I'm doing is, and Jaclyn, you came into my room. I was on the phone last week with these amazing women from Australia.
Uh-huh.
And so I'm going to actually keynote one of their events, and we're doing Women Network Australia.
Oh, okay.
And so
So
we
it's-
have these events happening all over the world.
So it's worldwide network, not necessarily chapters, the Women Network.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and the goal of the Women Network is to open doors for women or to share ideas or help other women that need help. What exactly the
So
main...
our theme is Women Network Better Together. We are truly better together.
Okay.
And what happens oftentimes is there's just a handful of women that we're talking about right now. We have these great women that are out there, you know, Michelle Obama, Sheryl Sandberg, but we don't talk about all the other women. And so what Women Network is about is looking at each industry and spotlighting who are the women that are getting it done, who are making a real impact.
Okay.
And studies show that when women have a media outlet, when they are captured on TV, which right now we don't get that, but they're spotlighted. They can then share, and other women can then look to them and say, "Okay, I can do that. I can be successful. I can go ahead and do what it is that they're doing." And so that's what this is all about.
So it's a support system as well as a kind of exposure to other women and spotlighting the women that made the difference for other women to see and emulate. Is that the bottom line of? Did I sum it up?
I think you did really well. And I know Jaclyn, you know, again, in producing the California Women's Conference and the entire teen program, but there was that feeling of you're not alone. You're not by yourself. And I don't care how successful you are, there's that feeling, that underlying feeling of, you know, do I matter? You know, do I count?
Yep.
And Women Network, it's an organization that lets you know you are absolutely amazing exactly the way you are. I mean, you have beautiful gifts. And the way that we're created is how we come together.
Yeah.
And I've had the opportunity as well, just to touch on, you know, what you've been saying about the purpose of Women Network, to kind of explore my own way of interpreting your Better Together message. And for me, I've always been blessed to have been raised by a powerhouse, somebody who has been an incredible role model my entire life. But at the same time, I recognize that that's not a normal situation. It's not the what the average girl has had the opportunity to be exposed to. And so when I produced the student program, I wanted to put on stage my other role models and people who girls could look up to if they didn't have the same powerful figure in their life. And so I think, you know, that's what the California Women's Conference and Women Network is all about, just giving powerful women a voice, but then also allowing them to be a role model for other women and inspire other women.
So I know you guys have all kind of conferences that you did, and in one of the conferences you had Maria Shriver, Oprah Winfrey, and a couple other personality. Are you is there a political entity to it, like to push for women, a woman president this year and the next 2 years? Is there anything cooking in the back?
So absolutely. Really what this is about too, and
it's about time.
You know, I mean Maria Shriver, I was able to come in and take on the conference. Maria Shriver, I mean, there's nobody like Maria Shriver. I mean, she did an amazing job and really brought it to a whole new level. One of the things that we like to look at is, you know, really tapping into 100% of the talent pool. You know, I love the quote that Warren Buffett says. He says, you know, I'm so excited about the state of the economy because we're unleashing the power of women into the economy. And so it's not about, you know, okay, we want to get women in there. We want to tap into 100% of the talent pool.
Yes.
And right now what's happening is we're only tapping into 50% of the talent pool.
Yes.
You know, when you look at top level executives and individuals that are running and owning companies, it's men.
Yes.
And so how can we go ahead, because when we do have that diversity, when we have men and women, it directly affects the bottom line. So the bottom line is the bottom line.
Yes.
It actually has an impact on companies, it will have a great impact on organizations, on being able to have that diversity.
Well, and even from a statistical standpoint, it's no longer this, the traditional American home isn't the father going to work and being the breadwinner and the mother staying at home. Mm-hmm. Actually, only 20% of households have one parent who's working and one parent who's staying home. So what do you think caused this shift from women staying home to them actually entering the workforce?
I mean, for me personally, we're coming up on 20 years being married to your dad, and for me, I wanted a career. I wanted to be able to be a mom, and I wanted to be able to have a career, and I wanted to be able to go ahead and really pursue that. And I think that you can have both.
Well,
sometimes not always at the same time. There's that balancing.
Part of it too, I mean, education had a lot to do with it. Now we have more actual women in college than men, and it's growing. And more back in the old days, women, okay, go get your basic education. You're going to be a wife and all this. But now you're going to be a scientist, an astronaut, a surgeon, a doctor, pilot. So it opens a door for more women.
And I would even suggest that it's because we've moved from an industrial stage into a post-industrial stage. Mm-hmm. So no longer does it matter if you have physical strength. It's all about if you have intellectual capabilities, if you can, work a computer, if you can network with people. Yep. And men and women on this plane are equal. And so no longer does it matter who can go, hunt and kill a boar. Yep. Yep. It's all about, if you can crunch numbers and be a leader and be an innovator.
Yeah, and God gave us almost the same amount of brain, whether women or men, and more and more of them. Almost, yeah. Women has a little more.
Good answer, Avi.
Well, I have two powerful ladies here. I don't want to be put out.
Yeah.
And I have one at home too, as powerful. But anyway, it is inspiring to see that we are no longer looking at people and categorize them all female, male. Okay, well, we're coming to our end of the segment, so we shall be back and tune to iTunes with Plugin or to our own show, pluginpod.tv. Thank you. We'll be back. Welcome back to Plugin, episode 22, segment 2. We're our new host, Jaclyn Patterson, and our guest, Michelle Patterson. Plugin is produced by OC Digital Studio here in Mission Viejo. And without more to talk about, we are going to go back to our discussion with Michelle Patterson, and Jaclyn will be carrying it over. Jaclyn, go ahead.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello there.
It's a role reverse here. Mom's on the hot seat.
Yes.
Exactly.
I don't know if I like this, Avi.
Tell the truth.
I know.
I guess I just wanted to start with asking you about how you view the roles of femininity and the stereotypes of femininity coming into play into your life and how you act professionally.
Okay. Let me break that question down. So great question. I think a lot of times even the words feminist and femininity, we get them, they get lost. the different generations don't really understand what those words mean.
Sometimes even there's a negative to feminism, and like some people, they take it like back in the 60s or whatever, not necessarily mean that coming out or whatever, so they use it in a negative way. One of them, it's Rush Limbaugh. It's like he called them feminazis and whatever, any woman that stands
Well, of course, that's just a way of alienating women for searching for equality that they've been so long denied.
Or afraid of strong women.
Yeah, absolutely. And so when people say that there's this negative connotation with feminism, isn't that interesting that that kind of energy would be put around the word just to put people who are looking for reform down?
I think anybody that's afraid of the word feminism, they are not. They think they are men, but they are literally nothing to do with men because they are afraid of their own identity. Specifically, I talk about, and I hate his guts, I said it on TV, Rush Limbaugh. And he's the type that you want to take and throw away because of his opinion and his foul mouth and foul opinion, specifically about women. Anytime he sees a woman that's standing and talking and telling the truth, oh, feminazi, oh, these feminazis, and he goes on in a rant about them. So anyway, I think it should be celebrated because women are the mother of the universe. I mean,
and I think so I think you brought up a really good question, and that is how does it show up in my life? And you live with me. Your
like
mother birthed you 17 years ago.
Well, we lived together pretty closely for the first 9 months of my life.
Exactly. So I think, Jaclyn, and you see me, go through this. There's a funny story that comes to mind with your brother, and that is, again, with women, it's, whether you are a stay-home mom or you go to work or you go, is that feeling of, again, I'm enough. And we're doing our very, very, very best, and we're balancing. And I have the feeling and the belief system that I can have it all. I can have a career. I can have an amazing family. I can have an amazing relationship. Maybe not all at the same time, but is that balancing? And there's this story. So we have a neighbor down the street. Her name is Trina, and they have 10 kids.
Wow.
And so their son is our son's, my son, her brother's best friend. So her brother's name's Chase, and he's over at his friend Alex's house, and Trina is making pancakes, and she's making pancakes.
50 kids.
It's like for an army.
The entire neighborhood, all these kids, but her 10 kids, and there's Chase, sitting there eating pancakes. And
is she a stay-home mom?
She's stay-home mom.
Oh,
she's cooking. She's flipping these pancakes, and out of the mouths of babes. Yeah. My son says, well, my mom can't cook. My mom can't make pancakes, and it's true. I mean, I'm the worst cook out of the family. I mean, I've like burn marks. I've burned toast. I'm not good at it. And I think that we were all given gifts.
Yep.
And we all have these strengths and these qualities.
Yes.
That was one of the gifts that I did not get. So
Cooking.
She's flipping these pancakes, and she's listening to my son. Oh, my mom can't cook pancakes, and my mom's not good at this. And so this woman, this amazingly beautiful woman, and this is what this is about. She sits at the end of the table, and she looks at Chase, and she says, you know what, Chase? She goes, your mom might not be making pancakes and the best pancake maker there is, but your mom's helping other moms.
Yes.
And so they continue to talk. And what she did was she used that as a learning opportunity. And it truly, it does. It takes a village as we raise our families and raise our kids. So my son makes a beeline for home, and he comes home and he says, Mom, I think you're great. I did say you're not a very good cook, and start sharing this. So I call up Trina, and there we are. I'm on the phone with her, and she's on the phone, and we're not, we're talking about, we're both crying, and we're talking about how she took this moment to make it a teaching moment, not only for Chase, but for all these kids. That we all have different roles that we play. And when we stop comparing ourselves and we really start coming together and practicing this loving heart, and and she starts crying. She's like, I see you, and you're off speaking at these different events, and you're doing different things, and I'm at home, and I'm stay-at-home mom, and you're doing all these things. I go, Trina, you are, first of all, I think she homeschools. These kids are brilliant, beautiful kids.
Yep.
And she runs one of the largest blogs, and again, but it's about, let's stop making those comparisons. Let's stop, for me, taking over the California Women's Conference, if I went into it and I compared myself and said, well, gosh, I'm not Maria Shriver. I can't be Maria Shriver. Maria Shriver's Maria Shriver.
Yeah.
Michelle
she
Patterson.
She have her talent and she have her
talent. Michelle Patterson is Michelle Patterson.
Exactly.
Jaclyn, Jaclyn's Jaclyn Patterson. You're not setting out to be, I want to be like my mom.
Yeah.
I learn from you every single day. I really do.
What's make the whole universe complete, it's that not, if we were all the same, we will be like just marching dummies. But that what makes us unique, that each individual brings different talent and different capabilities to make it work. So we can't all be top 9-kid mom or the pancake makers, but that's what separate us, yet make us unique, as well as make us similar. And our uniqueness is what our capabilities are, and that's a lesson.
Right.
And that's what makes us, everybody contribute in a different way, but still contribute. And
absolutely.
And I think this can even come up more for women as they're almost working this second shift, as now we are taking professional roles, but we still have this natural mothering characteristic of our personalities.
Yeah.
And so we're going to work, but then we're coming home and we're taking that second shift where we're cooking dinner for the whole family. And I guess I shouldn't say we, because I don't have a family, but
you do cook a ton. You're in the kitchen all the time.
I'm in the kitchen.
I don't think, and for me, feminism isn't about saying, you can't shave your armpits, you have to go to work every day. For me, feminism is about having a choice. It's about telling women that if you want to work, go work. If you want to stay at home, you can stay at home. But utilize your talents in whatever way you feel inclined to.
Yep.
And so I think that's where, the stigma around feminism has come from, because we'll have a group of people who are trying to say that women have to become a certain thing, but then that's a whole different form of suppression. So here we're telling somebody that we can't, be told that we have to be stay-at-home moms, but now we're having people who are telling us that we have to work. And so it's just, I think, all about having a choice.
Well, it really goes back to is, and we look at what the 5 to Thrive, Gallup poll did 50 years of study, and it was, what creates your best life? And we did this best life blueprint. And it really goes back to, it's what makes your heart sing? What do you love? Like when you sit back and Michelle Young and I were talking about this on Sunday, a friend of mine, and in front of our families, is what makes your heart sing? What do you love? Not what someone else wants you to do or what someone else wants you to be, but what is it that
what
makes
you're passionate
you,
about? Yeah.
What do you love? And sometimes what I love is not going to be what you love. And so that's where you've really got to go back and do that soul searching. And I tell people this, it's if you don't decide what it is that you want to do,
somebody else will
decide. Somebody else will come in and make that decision for you.
Yeah.
And I think, as I wear different hats, and as your mom, for me, I want you to have your best life. I want you to be happy. I want you to live your passion and to be happy. And I want you to surround yourself with, people in your life that support you and support that passion. And I think it's great. She's had the opportunity to, see your father. Your dad is like, talk about a support system.
Absolutely.
And supporting, supporting our family and supporting, each other's, really what our passions are. And that's what I want for you, is to be able to go after what you want.
Aren't you doing something too with the young generation your age? I know I heard something that you have your own organization with the younger ladies.
Yeah, so we've actually created a mirror of what she's been producing for women for the younger generation.
Okay.
And we produced the first student program last year at the conference. And we basically just put role models on stage and allowed girls from various socioeconomical backgrounds to participate in this. And
Younger, what's the age in your organization?
Between 9 and 21.
Oh, okay.
So there's quite the range. It's specifically geared towards an 18-year-old, but you know how when you're 12 years old, the only thing you want to do is be 18, 21.
Yeah.
So the first day focused on self-esteem, and then the second day focused on specific resources such as how to get a job, how to write a application, how to participate in an interview. And so it was just about teaching girls.
So do you have a conference as well once a year, or how do you?
I just do it in conjunction.
Yeah,
to
so
her.
it literally, I mean, it's as big as the California Women's Conference. It's the teen program for the California Women's Conference. And I was amazed.
I'm sorry to cut you, but we are coming on the time again, and this is our end of the show, and we will continue next time. Maybe we should come back and redo it again. Thank you very much for coming. Thank you for hosting, and we'll be gone.